Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Bam Adebayo's buzzer beater saves Heat from disaster versus Pistons. The Miami Heat hang on to beat the Detroit Pistons Sunday afternoon to take the season series with a clean sweep off a Bam Adebayo made three-point shot. After going on a 4-game losing streak, Miami have now won 2 straight, both against the Pistons. It is utterly ironic that the contest ended with Adebayo sinking a three-point shot, as it has been a topic of discussion since including the buzzer beater. The star big man now has sunk a deep shot in 3 straight games. The game was tied at 101 when Heat guard Terry Rozier took the ball up the court after a Pistons miss. When he was stopped in his tracks and time expiring, Rozier passed the ball to his only option, which was Adebayo at the top of the key, and had to fire it away. There is no doubt that Adebayo taking the shot wasn't the plan from the get-go, but the University of Kentucky product has been working on that shot and showed why he should be a threat from that range. The Heat's bench rushed to Adebayo after the made shot and celebrated with their captain, as it's his first season in that role after the retirement of longtime player Udonis Haslem. He would finish with 20 points, a whopping 17 rebounds, and 3 assists as the too-close win brings the Heat to 37-30 on the season. Besides Robinson reaching an incredible milestone of being the fastest player in NBA history to hit 1,000 three-point shots, he also had a masterful game on top of that. He finished the game with 30 points off making 10 of his 15 shots from the field and making 7 of 12 from three-point range. He has been filling in for the injured Heat star in Tyler Herro and has started the past 11 games, but Sunday afternoon showed how much Robinson has improved in a lot of areas besides being one of the elite three-point shooters in the NBA. While Adebayo will be remembered for the buzzer-beater 3, Robinson needs to be in that conversation for keeping Miami in the game. One could argue this has been a constant issue for many, many years now, but this game was a microcosm of how, even though the Heat are undoubtedly the better team on paper, they always let inferior teams close in the game. One could point to every game with the Pistons this year, or even the most recent loss to the Washington Wizards, which was arguably the worst defeat of the season. The Heat were up by 17 points at one point in this game, but continued to have the bad habit of letting teams come back in the game towards the end. In this case, the Pistons came back and even tied the game at one point late in the fourth quarter. Granted, Miami was without 4 key players in Jimmy Butler, Nikola Jovic, and the continued absences of Tyler Herro and Kevin Love. However, the concern should still be there, as Detroit, while being tough with other good teams before, has not found much success this season. As said before, the Heat were missing 4 integral players to the rotation, and it showed against the Pistons. On top of Herro and Love having been out for 11 and 9 games respectively, Butler and Jovic were late absences as rookie Jamie Jaquez Jr. and Haywood Highsmith filled in the starting lineup. Jaquez scored 15 points off of making 6 of 14 attempts from the field, and Highsmith had 3 points, though his focus was exceptional defense up and down the stretch. It remains to be seen if their name will be called for the future, but fans should be knowing pretty soon. There will be little to no rest as they now travel to take on the Philadelphia 76ers Monday night on the tail end of the back-to-0 back. After, they end the current 4-game road trip and face the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. Miami entered the game 8th in the tightly packed Eastern Conference, as now with 15 games left in the regular season, every game matters. However, they will move up to 7th place where the 76ers was, as even though they have the same record, Miami owns the tiebreaker as they lead 2-0 in the season series. Miami Heat fans go berserk over Bam Adebayo's game-winning buzzer beater. The Heat entered as the 8th seed in the NBA Eastern Conference. But they were only a game behind the Pacers for the 6th seed. A loss to the Pistons would have been detrimental to the team's hopes of making the postseason without competing in the play-in tournament. However, the Heat's lone all-star, Bam Adebayo, snatched victory from the jaws of defeat with a heroic three-pointer at the buzzer. With the game knotted at 101 with mere seconds remaining, Pistons guard Cade Cunningham couldn't connect on an open three-point attempt. Miami brought down the rebound, hurried the ball up court, and hit Adebayo in stride. He nailed the shot from deep as the clock expired. It was a true shocker for those in attendance, as Adebayo had only made 3 shots from beyond the arc the entire 2023-24 campaign. The Heat bench rushed to Adebayo and embraced its leader. And the passionate Miami fan base did the same on social media. A fan pointed out that 3 of Adebayo's 4 three-pointers on the year have come in the past 3 games. Bally Heat celebrated the game-winning shot versus Detroit by making an Eminem reference. Other fans lit up victory cigars to celebrate the Heat's exhilarating walk-off win. This win marks the team's 37th regular season victory. It moves them up to the 7th seed in the East. The Heat have 15 games to continue their ascension up the standings and avoid having to compete in the NBA's play-in tournament. Adebayo's game winner could serve as invaluable momentum down the stretch as Miami hopes to claim a top 6 seed. NBA rumors: should the Miami Heat begin panicking about Tyler Herro's injury issue? With roughly 15 regular season games remaining, it's been quite the up-and-down year for the Miami Heat. In a convoluted Eastern Conference, the Heat could theoretically finish anywhere from 4th all the way down to 8th. The last month of the season could have some huge implications on whether the Heat has another deep playoff run in them. But it may be difficult for the Heat to finish the year strong if they're not completely healthy. And right now, the Heat isn't. Miami has been without arguably their most important defensive player for nearly a month now. Tyler Herro, who suffered a right foot injury in late February, remains out of the lineup and there isn't a current timetable for his return. For an injury that wasn't deemed to be serious, Herro is close to missing a full month because of it. At some point, it's only natural for the Heat to get a bit concerned about how the situation has developed. Overall, this is the second extended absence that Herro has had this season. Earlier this year, Herro missed more than a month from November into December with an ankle injury. Up to now, Herro has only played in 36 games this season for the Heat. In a vacuum, the Heat has performed fair without Herro. Miami is 17-13 with Herro out of the lineup this season. Still, it's clear that there are many nights when they miss his offensive explosiveness. And that's not good with the start of the NBA playoffs right around the corner. For all the flack that Herro gets, there's no question that he can help the Heat. Whether he's used in the right role is irrelevant. Once the playoffs begin, the Heat is going to need the scoring punch that Herro can provide on any given night. As the Heat continue to struggle with offensive consistency, it's insane to think that they wouldn't benefit from having 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists on 40% shooting from three-point range reinserted back into the lineup ahead of the playoffs. Can the Heat make another surprisingly deep playoff run? Theoretically, sure. But whether they're willing to admit it or not, that's going to be a lot more difficult without Herro in the lineup. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation Tyler Herro? Leave your opinion in the comments.